So while it's useful to see all of your different carriers with kind of this summary view where you can see all this information, it's usually a good idea within the process to go in and actually view these carriers and check before you review them in here. So opening up this view window, we have the ability to refresh just this carrier settlement, so this won't affect any of the other carriers. It'll just refresh this one so it goes a lot quicker instead of doing all the refresh. But you can see right here on the first tab, we have a summary page that basically matches this summary table right here, but just for that carrier. So if I come back in here into view, and I see we have the tickets, recurring withholdings, other withholdings, fuel receipts, additionally due, etc., and the total down here at the bottom. So this total, we're kind of reviewing to make sure everything looks good. So it looks like, yeah, I got 7 fuel receipts, which is this amount. We're not charging additional fee. They have the insurance fee, but they aren't leasing any trucks. They aren't paying insurance on those. And we're doing 85% payout of this invoiced amount, which gives the total, which they did 15 loads. So it looks good. But as we go through here, you get details or the ability to see details into any one of these. So within the tickets page, you can see in here, we have all of these different tickets, which I believe that these tickets in this example don't have fuel surcharge calculating out properly, which you'd probably want to fix before you get to this point in here. But you can see the total payout and total invoice and the percentage here. And then you have access to go into any of these tickets and view the ticket and do the whole view ticket window where you have access to all that information. Also in here, we have the equipment tied to this specific transporter. So we have this truck, or one truck, one trailer, and they were active for 15 days right here, or the truck was. So you can see the active truck right here. We have the ID number. It's not using company plates, which is why there isn't the extra withholding for them. It's not inactive, so it's activated, was activated last fall, and was active for 15 days throughout the settlement. Within here, we do have the ability to change some of this information. If we do see anything that we need to correct, typically this will be done in other places, but it is here as a courtesy. If they were using company plates or was leased out, we could correct that in here as well. The other option we have in here is to deactivate a truck. If we catch some of those carriers that had active equipment but didn't have any tickets, this is a great way to quickly kind of fix and deactivate those as needed. And then same with the trailer down here. If I come across here to manage, you can see that we also have the ability to change it if it's leased out or not, as well as deactivate if it's not being used. The withholdings tab will show all of the different withholdings that we have. So we've got a recurring right here, insurance, which is the $250 or $500 a month, which is a flat fee, and the truck insurance doesn't apply in this case because they do not have any leased vehicles. If I were to change that within the equipment tab and refresh, then that would show up in here. We don't have any one-time withholdings for this specific carrier. We can find one that does, but we do have some fuel receipts. So down here you'll see all these different fuel receipts that we've brought in, and you can see the information in here regarding them. One thing to note is there is the ability to, not with the recurring withholdings, but with one-time and fuel receipts, we can float them to the next settlement. So we're going to grab this carrier down here that has a large other withholding spades. So if I come into here and view their settlement, we do have a, you can see that this was one where we did reduce the amount of insurance from 500 to 200. Maybe they're part-time or something like that. But coming into here, you can see that we did do a cash advance previously in the withholding video that we're needing to collect on. But because they obviously did not make enough money from the number of loads that they ran in order to pay this, we could just float or split this. So if I come into here, I can either edit the withholding and change it, delete it altogether, float, or split. So if I float it to the next settlement, it'll completely get moved over, so the $1,200 will be applied in the next pay period. In this case, I actually want to split it. So we're going to change the amount that we're withholding this time. Let's change it to be, we'll say we'll charge $200 now and $1,000 down the road. I'm going to go ahead and click save, and you can see that our one-time withholding is now just $200 right now. And then we also have fuel receipts that we've imported for this person. So we could go ahead and float, a couple of these later ones if we wanted to. So we could float these to the next settlement to make sure that they're getting some money this time. And now if we come back over into the summary, You can see because we've floated a few things, there's still too many fuel receipts, but we've gone from like negative couple grand down to like negative 600. So we could, float the rest, but an option in there as well. The last thing in this tab is the addition, or the last thing in this window is the additionally due, where you can see any of the bonuses or other payouts that you're giving them. We don't have any recurring, but in this case, it looks like we do have this one $250 high safety scores payout that we're giving to this driver. We also have the ability to create new ones in here if we need to on the fly, as we do with one-off withholdings as well. So if there's anything that kind of just got overlooked and needs to be corrected quickly as a part of this process, you can do that in here. But yeah, that's the carrier window. So you would kind of use these to go through and do a very close audit on each of these subtotals and kind of move or manipulate things if needed in order to make it work out for them. So I'd probably actually float quite a few of these over to a future one where they're actually working a little bit, just so that we can get kind of a positive total right here. So let's go ahead and do that. And now they don't have any more of those there, so the total is actually going to be a positive in this case. And kind of just where those end up if they do get floated, if I go back out to the settlement home, if we go over into withholdings, you can see that now we did have one withholding that was $1,200 because we split it. We have the this settlement right here, the 21.2.1 is the one we're working on, and we are doing $200. Still hasn't been settled, but we have the extra 1,000 that's getting floated. It's skipping the 21.2.1, so it's going to get reassigned into the next settlement that we're going ahead and doing that. And fuel cards kind of works the same way. If we come into here, some of these will have been floated to a future one as well. But yeah, that's the settlement carrier window and kind of the carrier tab in general within the settlement process. So we're going to move on after this and kind of wrap it up in the next couple segments.